What's up, DP? How are you tonight, brother? Hey, Brittany, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
I'm doing pretty good, Brittany. Are you doing that tournament at Joel's? That March Madness one? I think Hayden might be doing it. I might see you there.
No. Have my employees come back here trying to shut the lights off on us. That won't be great. You can turn those on.
I probably won't bowl on it right now. I'm working on mechanic, and right now my game is terrible. How'd your practice go, typical? Yeah, it's a tough pattern. It's flooded. That's pretty good.
It's time for a new stand.
There he is. Thank you, sir. Yeah, guys, share this out because for some reason TT's not running properly right now.
It's been terrible.
I mean, videos aren't being pushed. Lives aren't being pushed.
Well, that's
It used to notify everybody. Well, up until like a couple weeks ago, it was still sending out notifications to people that you're live. But now it's like it's disabled everything, and it's like restarting or something.
Yeah, it's been acting up a lot lately.
I think Queen posted a video earlier, and there was like 3 or 4 comments on it, and then all the comments are gone now.
Yeah, I've even noticed that like some of the likes that I've given back towards like people liking my posts, they've disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I just shared it with Tip, and he's already in here. My bad. Whoops.
He just means he really wants you in here.
Right?
Please be my friend. All right. Sorry, I got to put my comment in to get the 40 bonus points.
What's up, attorney? How are you, brother?
Because, you know, I got to level up.
Right.
There we go. All right, so Revelation Lane, St. Joe. So I'm actually within driving distance of St. Joe.
Where are you at?
Warrenton, Missouri.
Oh yeah, you're definitely within driving distance. About hour and 45, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah. It's like hour and a half to the 2.5 hours, obviously depending on traffic.
Oh yeah.
Because God knows we have that here.
Right.
Till you get out in the sticks, anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm in Warrenton. I know all about the sticks.
Watch out for those deer.
Hey, it happens, attorney. You gotta, with Ohio and its weather changes, you gotta roll with the punches.
Very true. We could have all
Yeah,
four
at least
seasons in one day.
Welcome to Missouri.
I think we get the same weather line.
Yeah, you just get it like 2.5 days after we do.
Right.
So, what got you into being a pin setter mechanic? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I grew up in a automotive shop. So my dad, until he passed away, built high performance race cars from ground up. So frame, motors, everything from ground up. And so I grew up in that environment where I just worked with my hands. I was able to diagnose things really quickly and get on to the next big project. So when my husband and I met, he was already running a bowling alley that had 8230s. So that's the very first automatic pen setter that came into creation. Yeah, those are reaching their 80th birthday this year. Just to kind of give you an idea of how old those really are. The pen setter that you're actually seeing the underside of right now, this one was brought into production in 1963. So we are looking at something that's 63 years old already. And
which pin setter are you guys operating?
So we have 8270s in both of our bowling houses. I'm at our bigger house in St. Joseph, Missouri. They're starting Moonlight Bowling right now. And we converted these over from 30s. So I only have about 2 years of experience with 30s, but we converted these 4 years ago to 70s. Much easier to work on.
Yeah, but unfortunately the parts on them are still insanely expensive because they're antiques.
Yes, but there are conversions out there.
Yeah.
So we've got several conversion kits in case we lose a back end motor and we don't have a one-to-one replacement. That was one of the bonuses about being a car mechanic in a performance race shop, was being able to understand that gear differential.
Very, very true. That actually is a huge benefit. I didn't even think about that.
Now, when you see bowling alleys shutting down, do you try to jump over and buy some of their old equipment?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I can peek around this one here. So if that kind of gives you any idea, that's some of the stuff that we cannibalized from our 30s. So all the front rollers, the rear rollers, and the ball lips all translated over. So that was stuff that we took and put against our back wall and said, we'll use it someday.
Right.
And then, of course, the plows. Some of the things that are hard to get now are being able to be 3D printed now. So like this gear right here.
Yeah.
We can 3D print that now. So it's not as a big of an emergency. EBN is coming out with a lot of the gear or the bushings. They call them greaseless bushings, and so that's been a really big help to our industry as well.
That's awesome. Yeah,
So,
anything you can make quickly would be a huge plus.
how durable are the 3D prints, though?
It depends on what you're making them out of. So if you're making these guys here out of carbon fiber, they're going to be pretty durable.
Okay.
It doesn't have a lot of force on it, unless somebody's kicking it, and if they're kicking it, they're not working for me.
Right. So how long does the 3D printer take to make them?
I think I printed one in a little over 11 hours. You just want to go slow on it so you get a good, decent quality.
Well, that ain't too bad. I mean, 11 hours is better than trying to shake down and pay the extra cost and try to find one.
Oh, absolutely.
Plus shipping time.
I think right now, if you buy these parts off a vendor, it's like $100 to get it. And I can print them for probably $20.
Oh, see, there you go.
That's awesome on overhead.
Yeah.
Now, you said you did like to try to cannibalize parts from closing bowling facilities. Did you guys buy anything from Frontier when they closed?
Unfortunately, we did not. We just acquired the 70s when they closed, and I thought they were running A's, which are a little bit different. So there's several different varieties of pin setters out there. You have the 82 series, which is AMF, and then you have the Brunswick A1s and A2s, and then you have the GSXs, which are basically A2s with a sleeker body style, basically. And I may have forgot one or two one-offs there.
I was going to say, I was always a big fan of the A2s. They're the most constant setting ones, in my opinion.
It depends on who your mechanic is.
That's also very true.
Yeah, but you save a lot of overhead with you being the mechanic, though, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. So 3 years ago, I went out and got my pen setter certification. So I'm actually a certified pen setter technician, certified for 8230s and 8270s.
Well, that's cool. So how does it work from approach to the sensors, yada yada yada?
Okay, so I'll flip this one on just so we have some power on this one. So once you throw your ball, everybody sees that the pen setter activates, but what they don't realize is that this little camera right here activates by using the sensor. That triggers the sweep to come down after the timing is counted down. I think it's like 4.5 seconds. It's with the variable motors, it gives it a little time for like the little kid balls to get past there. So sometimes it has an adjusting timer on it. From there, you'll hit the cycle will activate and the sweep will come down to what we call first guard. The pen setter will come down, feel for pins. The sweep will activate and run, come back to second guard, and then both table and sweep will come up together. If, let's say, you just guttered your ball, all those pins are going to come back here. And they're going to go back to the carpet, which you just see the ball kind of fly to the back. And then this pin elevator is going to distribute them onto the distributor. And from there, it'll set a brand new rack. But it will not set a rack until this pin switch is made.
That's fascinating. I love that. Okay, so
Oh, go ahead.
I have a question. Okay, so what causes pins to get caught up at the top of the deck?
Do you mean like up here is deadwood?
No, I'm talking like on top of the pin setter.
Okay, so there are a couple of things that can go on. This piece here is called the kidney. I'll kind of step out so you can see it a little bit. These pins right up in here, and sometimes when they get distributed, they're backwards, but they don't flip around and they go in instead of going in butt first like you're seeing here. They'll actually flip around the other direction and go in head first.
Gotcha.
So that causes what you call a table jam. Drops or just like all of a sudden spits out all the pins across the deck and you're like, what the hell just happened? Yep. That's generally what's happened. And so you'll get pins caught up in between here and they'll get stuck in these rails, and they won't allow these cups to come down properly.
That is a fairly regular occurrence on my Wednesday night center. So that's why I was curious.
Yep. So a couple of things that can be adjusted if they have 82s. Is this kidney here, both the 30s and 70s and the 90s have this kidney. And you can just move it up or back. Generally, it's a half inch from the distributor pan, which is right up here, and I'm not pointing at it. It's right here. So it will come onto that pan and flip around and carry on through down. The other really important adjustment is making sure that your pin forks are lined up with your bin spots. And that's pretty close to accurate. The only two spots it will never line up completely with are the 10 side and the 7 side, just because it's a triangle.
Okay,
but
so
those are
see
those
that's
are
the reason
two
why I leave so many 10 pins. Okay, I got you.
We all need an excuse, right?
Right,
Well,
exactly.
as you can see, there's a lot more space in here than what it appears to be at the foul line. It is almost 2/3 of the space of a regular bowling ball in between each one of these pins. So if you put a bowling ball right next to the 1 and 3, you're going to have just a little bit overlap on each pin with the bowling ball.
See, now
That's
that'd be a
interesting.
good visualization for bowlers to realize just how accurate and how much entry angle actually matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think I've got a little kid's ball back here that I can kind of set up. That way people can see what it actually looks like. I can get it to keep from rolling away. So, I mean, that's not moving any pins. The pins are on spot. And I mean, that's just basically how much space there is.
Well, and coming in at that angle, you're guaranteed to 10 pin because that 6 pin's going to wrap right around the 10, and the 10's going to stand there
Yep.
because that is way behind the head pin.
Yep. I show all my youth bowlers this so they understand that it's not as easy as it looks from the line.
Right.
And it really keeps them from getting discouraged.
Yeah, which is a good point. Because I mean, we all know a lot of youth people. They just want to strike, and they don't understand how hard it is to actually consistently strike. They see all the PBA people do it constantly, and they're just like,
Oh yeah.
why can't I do that? Why can't I do that? It's like it's a lot more difficult than it actually looks.
And I mean, you can just kind of see. I mean, I'm touching the 3 pin, but there's still a gap right next to that 1.
Right.
And oh, there we go. And I mean, that pin's on spot. So I'm not off spot anywhere on this rack.
Wow.
So, as a bowler at the foul line, how do you tell if it's a bad rack?
So if you're looking at it straight on, you shouldn't be able to see the 5 from behind the 1 pin. You should have to step to the left or right to see if whether or not you have a head pin or a 5 pin. And the 3 and the 2 should conceal the 8 and 9 perfectly.
Yeah.
So you can tell if you have a bad rack just by the diamond pattern in front.
Okay.
The sleeper should always be hidden.
The sleeper should be hidden. You should want to take a step to the side to see if you have one.
Yeah.
See, now that was one of the problems we had at our Bolero for a little while. The pin setters were off, and the 4 and 7 were basically nut to butt with each other. There was a huge gap between the 2 pin and the 4 pin.
Oh, that's not good.
And now that he said the magic word Bolero, what is your thoughts on string pins?
I've never bowled on them. I mean, I can definitely see the appeal from the owner aspect of it. You know, cost on parts, cost on labor, cost on extra staff. I can definitely see the logistics behind it and the cost savings. But as a bowler, I can't really form an opinion yet. I haven't pulled on them.
Okay, now that'll actually go into the next question that we always circle back on. I am of the impression that the next bowling innovation is going to be a magnetized pin setter that you hit a magnetized current, it lifts the pins up, then you demagnetize them and it sets them back down. So it's kind of like a hybrid between a traditional pin setter and string pins, but they'd still be free fall. Would that be feasibly possible with today's technology?
So they actually made an attempt at that several years back. I want to say back in the 80s, they tried the magnetized pins, and they didn't have the technology yet to make it happen. I could definitely see it working with today's technology, and that would be something I'd want to look into.
See, I'm not too terribly far off, boys. Look at that.
Only a few decades.
Well,
Hey,
it still gives the free fall, but
Right.
your pins are you're going to be seeing a little bit of different play because each pin weighs 3 pounds.
Right.
You're going to have to put a weight in the top, which means you're going to have an extra weight on the bottom. So those pins are going to be less durable in the long run.
Very true.
Yeah. And Steve, a broken clock's right twice a day, buddy. So now let's since we've seen how that works, now let's go to the brains of the operation.
Oh, my husband's not here. No. I'm joking. Okay.
Wow, she gives credit to the husband. She's a keeper, guys.
I actually have to step up on the lane. So this is what tells the pin setter what to do and when to do it. This is a MP chassis. So it's the second generation chassis that they came out with, solid state being the very first type of chassis for 8270s. This board is basically a computer board back here. It tells it if it's a strike cycle, if they missed a ball, so if it needs a sweep reverse. So it communicates with the camera down on the lane very, very closely. These switches here, this is a table switch and this is a sweep switch. So if I just push this switch, my sweep is activating right now and it's going to come right back up. And then if I push this one here, I hate this type of switch, it's going to activate the table. So essentially I can run the table from the front or the back just by telling it what I want it to do.
That's awesome.
And there's the front view of it spotting.
Now, what would cause a setter to necessitate a 180 where the sweeper's just down and out front and it's not going to move?
Okay, so 180s occur for many different reasons. So it could be that we've lost a motor. So this is the sweep motor right here. We could have lost this motor. We could have lost the table motor. We could have lost any contactor inside the chassis. So this right here. We could have lost the back end motor, which this guy is the workhorse of everything. This guy drives the pinwheel, the carpet, the ball lift, and it does it for both lanes or one lane. So I could lose a back end on its paired lanes, so on 23, because we're on 23, 24 right now. I could lose the back end motor on 23. That back end motor is going to carry the ball lift for both machines. So I call it the workhorse. It's not going to run the pit for the other machine, but it can run the ball lift for both machines.
When you have ball jams and they're just sitting rotating in the back, and we all know that sometimes the balls come back with some damage to them. What is typically that part that does the damage to bowling balls?
Okay, so it depends on what kind of lift you have. So I'm actually going to turn my back end off so I can bring my phone in really close. So we have PBLs here in St. Joe, and in our other center, we have humpbacks. The humpback, the side of the lift, so this piece of the lift here can get a really sharp edge and nick your ball on the humpbacks. With the PBLs, it's almost always the ball door, or it is, so you guys can see like right back there to the far corner, you see kind of like that black hole.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
carbon fiber board there, and sometimes those rivets back out.
Oh,
And will
yep.
catch your ball as your ball's going by. But on a PBL, that's almost always what it's going to be, is something right there in the ball door, or the actual edge of the ball lift itself. So this one has an arm that comes up and lifts your ball into the belt. And it's done by this clutch plate assembly right here. And so it'll activate the 2 fingers there, spread out, and lock into the clutch bolts and lift your ball up into the belt.
And the overwhelming majority of the need for a ball return is a pin getting stuck in that ball hole, right?
Yes. So that happens because of a weak shock. So this shock right here, that causes that paddle to go to side. It's either out of time, so this bolt here is too long, or the springs inside here are just too weak, and they're just not strong enough to push everything back.
Gotcha. And bowlers, the solution to not getting your ball back is to not throw 3 more back there. That
Yes.
causes more of a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear it's complicated on kickers. So they actually have some that kick your ball up, and I've never had used those, so I really can't speak to what they're like. But from what I hear, they're really bad with kickers.
I was to say, because I've seen several times, you get the pin grabber stick, and the guy in the back's just grabbing the pin that's stuck in the hole, and it frees up the ball to go through the chute.
Yep. Well, we actually use these guys because we don't want to take a chance at damaging a ball. So we use portable water lines because it doesn't
that's nice.
scratch the ball, and it still remains flexible enough that it has some give.
Very
So
cool.
we've got several of these so we don't damage balls.
So I watched one of your lives one day, and I thought something was very intriguing, how positive you guys speak to each other.
Yes. I have a fantastic staff here. My gal Galaxy has been with us for 3 years. Chris has been with us for 2 years. And it's absolutely unheard of to have such longevity as bowling alley employees. You'll see managers stay longer, but non-managers don't normally stay that long. My pin chaser, he's fairly new still, and my assistant manager just came on this year. But they are all amazing people, and it's taken a lot of practice between my husband and I. But we treat everybody, please, thank you, I appreciate it. Being clear and communicating with the front end, especially like when we're reaching down to get dead woods. So I can't see anything that's past the masking unit. And a lot of people tend to forget that. So I'll actually take you on top of a machine and give you what my view is. Because when I'm back here, I live up here. That's all
Yeah,
the
you can't
further.
see a thing.
That's all the further I can see. I can't even see the camera. So I have to call up and ask them, hey, am I clear to get that dead wood? Because the last thing I want to do is have someone ditch a ball and then have that rake come back and hit me in the face.
Right.
Or I've seen somebody trying to clear deadwood and get hit in the ankle with a bowling ball that was thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hardly ever walk on top of the lanes to go get deadwoods. We almost always use our pin sticks.
Well, I saw that video of the guy that did that, and I'm like, that seems to be a self-correcting problem. You won't do that again.
It's absolutely self-correcting because you get hit in the ankle with a 15-pound bowling ball going 18 miles an hour. Yeah, you won't do that again. We actually have homes for all these tools, so I don't know why it was left right there, but we have sticks that hang up on the back wall. Cranks so we can get to them in a hurry.
Okay, so you're obviously the head mechanic.
Yes.
Do you guys have a just keep me running mechanic? Because my dad did that for years. He was the associate mechanic. His job was just to keep the pin setters running until the main mechanic got there.
Nope. Nope. I am on call for this center 24/7.
Oh,
So
good Lord.
if something breaks, I get a video and say, hey, how do I fix this? Or, hey, can you come in?
Gotcha.
How many hours do you actually are in the center a week?
I'm generally here at least 13 hours a day. And probably out of that 13 hours, 8 is dedicated to machines.
But yeah, I only brought that up because my dad had a really funny story about the head mechanic got mad at him because he was just like basically duct taping everything to keep everything running until the head guy got there the next morning. And the head mechanic's like, damn it, Mick, you were supposed to fix this. He goes, that's not my job. My job's to keep it running until you get here.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because there's a fix me tape right there.
Yep.
So that'll be something I'll work on tomorrow.
And then here's another thing that I always ask back at the house people. How frustrating is it that you're making a lane repair, say on 21 and 22, and in the middle of that repair you get called for a ball return on 3 and 4?
If I'm working on something, they don't call me. They come back and get it.
Oh, you're lucky. You're
They
lucky.
They come back and get it. Unless we're in a tournament or some special event, all my front end people are trained for all basic calls. So they can clear a table jam, they can go get a ball, they can reset pins, and they can grab deadwoods.
Because my dad said that was the most frustrating thing ever. He'd be in the middle of a repair that takes 5-10 minutes, and then he's 2 or 3 minutes away from being done. Then he gets called for a ball return on 3 and 4.
Yep.
So he's got to hop down and run across the house.
Yep. My front end people will run and get the ball.
That's awesome.
So you mentioned special events and tournaments and stuff like that. How often do you do those?
So we have tournaments every other Sunday. We'll have a 3-day tournament coming up June 12th. The Missouri Masters. It will start on Friday the 12th and go all the way through the 14th. So it'll go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And generally I try qualifying for it, but I don't hardly ever make it past qualifying because I'm very distracted with my machines. So I end up being the back end person.
I would say and the Missouri Masters is not a cakewalk. It is a grueling tournament.
It is hard. It is really hard. I've made it to, I think, maybe 3 rounds before I got eliminated.
Now, will you be going live for that?
They will be doing, I don't know if they're going to be doing a live feed through the other social medias, but I do know that we have someone coming in and doing video.
I think a lot more bowling alleys should get into live streaming some of their tournaments and leagues and stuff. And I think it would draw in more attention overall.
I agree with that.
We really like doing our senior league. We have a guy on Monday who's going to be 101 in July. And he's still bowling and has been bowling for, I think, 70 years.
That's awesome.
And so every time I hear someone, oh, I'm too old to do that, I'm like, And then I show my kids, hey, look, This adult here, he's not throwing the ball hard, and he's got a strike.
Yeah, I bowl with a guy every Saturday. I practice with him. And he's 87 years old. And like we said, we're always learning, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I mean-
things change about your bowling style. Things change about your body and the way you're able to throw. But
Oh, yeah.
it's always a learning process.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, when I went to the Bradley, they had an 85-year-old plus guy there, and he was still throwing the ball 18 mile an hour.
Good God.
That's impressive.
Ray
he-
Gilly. He bowls on our Monday and Wednesday league, and he's much the same way. He was a former PBA player. And he throws the ball 15, 16 miles per hour on a bad day.
Well, and we've got a guy in his late 80s, early 90s who anybody in Missouri knows the Marsala family. Gus, the
Yep.
patriarch of the family, still bowls, and he's still throwing faster than some of the other guys that I bowl with. One of the guys
Oh,
I
yeah.
bowl with, he's lucky if he breaks 11 miles an hour on his strike ball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not about speed anymore.
But yeah, I mean, I was a little ankle biter when I first met Gus, and Gus is still bowling, and I'm 40.
Oh, yeah. Is John his son or his grandson?
John is his son.
Okay, because John is the one I'm very familiar with. That's the one Brian bowls with most.
Yeah, he's John's PBA 50.
Yep.
He tried coaching me for a while because my biological side of my biological father was really close with the Marsalas.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. I was bowling a PBA regional in North Carolina and struggling mightily. My dad calls John. John's like, "Who's another lefty over there?" He's like, "Well, Simonelli's here." He's like, "Well, that's easy. Just tell Steve to do what Simonelli's doing." I'm like, "John, I don't have that kind of speed. I can't replicate what Ryan Simonelli's doing."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like Rudy Revs, for example, he's 61 and he still creams the lanes, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It still has a beautiful release as well.
Absolutely. Oh, goodness.
So what's the biggest headache that you deal with nightly?
Oh,
That I deal with nightly,
Yeah.
dead woods. I hate dead woods. I could be
See, the
sitting.
one-
I could be sitting
Go
on
ahead.
23 and have a dead wood on lane 1, and I've got to go all the way down there to get it.
So the one house that we bowl at, they're very adamant about their deadwood, and they have a guy sitting out in the terrace, and his only job is to watch for deadwood. If he sees it, he's immediately to go clean it. So I could see that.
Yeah.
well, that's incredibly important for the pin setters too, because if you let deadwood go too long, your pin setters are out of whack, and it's waiting for a significantly longer portion to fill an entire rack to drop it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, not only that, but sometimes people decide to try to clear their own deadwood, and sometimes they throw it really, really hard down that gutter ball lane. It's not the best idea.
Yep.
No, a self-clear deadwood velocity is not the answer.
No, I've seen so many people do it. I'm like, why are you doing that, man?
Yeah, I've seen people do it with house balls, and their ball will actually ramp over the deadwood and hit the bottom of the machine, which makes nice chunks. I don't think I have any of them off where a bowling ball took a chunk out of the bottom.
Well, so Richie just asked, he said, how do you feel about league bowlers clearing deadwood with plastic down the gutter?
It depends on the league bowler. So if it's, someone who's not going to take that 8-pound ball and whip it as hard as they can and they're throwing it gentle, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But the majority of our league bowlers are not that person.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that I think the majority of the people that are doing that don't have an understanding of how it's supposed to be done properly,
Right.
and they think
Yes.
they're doing you guys a favor by clearing it themselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
My league house, especially if it's like on Saturday and I'm practicing, and I'm friends with the general manager that's always behind the desk. He'll just tell me, he's like, you know how to clean it up, you know what you're doing. So I'll do it, but I'm not throwing feet down the gutter. So
Okay, so that reminds me also, what is the gnarliest ball damage that you have seen from a mishap back there?
I've seen a chunk of ball come out because, I'll let this finish setting. So these ball rings right here will become loose, and if they become loose on the bottom before the top, when that ball comes through, it'll whip that metal bracket around and smack it. And we had a Special Olympic guy do just that. He threw his ball like he normally would. His ball comes back, and that ball ring comes around and smacked the bowling ball and took a chip out of it about that big.
Oh, Jesus.
We bought him a new ball.
I was going to say, that is beyond repairable.
Yes, it's beyond repairable. We bought him a new ball, for sure.
I would say, and the reason I ask is because I was throwing my spare ball, my Radical Spy, at a 7-pin.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those where I could have done it a million times and never replicated exactly what happened. The ball fell off the deck like literally 2 or 3 millimeters before it hit the pin, and it fell off at just the right angle that it smacked right into the ball feeder, and it actually blew my entire thumb hole out.
Wow. That's incredible. So I just took down the curtain so you guys should have a better view. So from the back, that's what I'm looking at the majority of the time.
this is a question that's I know in my league house it's constantly complained about. The sidewalls are so dead that there's like, if you hit pins off the sidewalls, the chances of you getting decent pin action off the sidewalls are very slim. So it's a lot harder to get messengers to come across. How often do you guys change out your sidewall?
So what we do is we don't change out the sidewall, but you see this stuff right here that's kind of greenish.
Yeah.
This is actually a coating that we use to revitalize our sidewall.
Okay.
And so during the summer, we'll scrape all of this down and we'll recoat it so it has more life.
Very cool.
That's interesting.
Okay, so now this is an inside question. At your center, shooting at the 710, are you shooting ball return side or non-ball return side? Which has a better chance?
At our center, the non-ball return side is going to be better just because it's more shallow. So you can kind of see right there versus over here. The pit is designed to be at an angle towards the ball door. So it's always better to try to bring the 7 across to the 10 than the 10 over to the 7, depending on what lane you're on.
Gotcha.
The even lanes, it's going to be the 7 to 10, and the odd lanes, it's going to be 10 to 7. Just because they share that. They share the one ball return, so right here, but the 10's on this side over here. So this is going to be the deeper side opposed to this over here.
Gotcha.
That's really interesting.
Actually,
Yeah, that's really
actually. Go ahead.
that's great advice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would have never even thought about that.
I think everybody in this live's light bulb just went off like ding.
Right?
So to kind of show you this piece here that I have in my hand right now, this is called a cushion. And you can kind of see how it gets thicker on one side versus the other. And that's to allow the pins to go under, but not the ball. Well, that also means that on the ball side door, that curtain's going to have more slack than this side. This side's going to be tighter.
Tighter, yeah.
So this one here is still up. This is the 7 side, and that's the ball door side. You can see the deeper slope on the ball side versus the non-ball side.
And see, that's the other element that split shooters really appreciate is fresh tarps that for the pin catcher, because those things get beat up and they're flimsy as all hell. They will catch pins and drop them and not catch them and throw them.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
my house, it literally will just catch them and just drop them.
Yep, and I'm going to make a note of that. I just found something. So this curtain rail here has got a slice in it.
Ooh.
So I'll need to address that. I've got plenty of curtain rods, so it's just a matter of pulling it out and putting a new one in.
Because that was how
So-
that's how I picked my what was it, 7-9, or no, my 8-10. Was I hit the 8-pin dead on, threw it into the tarp caught it and whipped it out and threw it back into the 10-pin.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Rubling, we could probably do a mini TikTok tournament that you were talking about. We could probably use these lanes right here.
Good, absolutely.
I mean, that'd be centrally located for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
That it would. Yeah, because I tried to get my home on Wednesday nights to talk to me about it 2 or 3 different times, and nobody ever gave us a call back to try to set anything up. So I just gave up on it. Because we were
need
wanting to do a 2-day format TikTok takeover tournament.
That sounds like fun.
We'd
And
have to sit down and work out some details with them.
oh yeah, absolutely, I would definitely be open to that. And like I said, I'm within driving distance, so if we need to do a face-to-face meeting, we can definitely do that. But I think what we had settled on for our format was standard singles and doubles day one, and instead of doing teams, we were going to do captains draws trios.
That could be fun. That
So
does
you'd have
actually sound like a lot
Yeah,
of
so
fun.
you'd have designated captains for each team, and then you would do a snake draft to fill out your trio team.
Nice. I tease my husband
So-
about being the other Menini all the time.
So now on the business side, so like one alley I go to, the guy is anti-league. He wants open bowl, and all the other houses around here want league bowlers. Which do you generate more revenue from?
So we generate more revenue from our league bowlers than we do our open bowl. But the way that most owners should look at it is our league bowlers is our salary, but our open bowlers is our bonus money.
Yeah.
See, that's a
Wait,
good
wait, wait.
mindset. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, to be honest.
It's like getting that quarterly bonus check. Every open bowler that walks in goes towards that bonus.
And Miles, that is in St. Joe, Missouri, St. Joseph.
Because
I don't like hitting them. The gutters here are wood, with the exception of the flat gutters, and those are plastic. We also do the same coating that we do on the sidewall on our flat gutters. Our center just went through our USB-C certification. We got gold standard certification, scored just over 96%.
Awesome. And for anybody that doesn't know, the centers have to pass that USPC to have sanctioned league.
Yep.
If they do not pass it, then they will not sanction you.
Yeah, a minimum I think is 70%, which puts you in the bronze.
Oof. So on a night like tonight, when you guys are running your midnight or cosmic or whatever you guys call it up there, how is it usually typically a full house, or is it still one of your slower nights?
It's hit or miss, so it depends on what's going on in Kansas City, because we're very, very close to Kansas City. If Kansas City doesn't have anything major going on, like in the Power and Light District, or the weather is still kind of crummy and there's not a lot of outside things to do, because we do compete with hunting and golf, then we'll see an influx of people coming in. During the summer, we see more open play than we do league play. But generally, this time of year, it's kind of hit and miss. If there's no snow on the ground, we could be slam-packed or we could be slow.
How many leagues do you guys do during the week? Do you guys do Monday through Friday?
We have Monday through Saturday.
Monday through Saturday.
So we have 2 leagues on Monday, one league on Tuesday, 2 leagues on Wednesday, 1 league on Thursday, and 1 or 2 leagues on Saturday. So we do our Special Olympics League, which is sponsored by Special Olympics, and we give them a discounted rate to come up and bowl. And then our youth league runs the same time, and then we have a 4 p.m. Saturday mixers.
4 p.m. league on a Saturday. Wow.
Yeah, and it's almost full house. Our Thursday league's full house. Our Tuesday league's full house.
That's awesome.
It's definitely bread and butter.
Yeah, it's our salary.
Yeah.
I was saying, you're a 24-lane center there, right?
Yes, we're 24 lanes here. Our other center in Brookfield is 8.
8?
8. It's a tiny little thing.
That's a mini house.
The Brookfield Center has been there for almost 80 years. So it started off as a 30s house. It was converted from a movie theater, so it's one of the very few bowling alleys I've seen that has a basement and a second story with an attic.
That's cool.
That size is actually, because I have my MBA in sports management, right? And our final project was a business proposal, and I did mine on a bowling training facility.
Yep.
And 8 lanes was the amount of lanes that I had in my training facility.
Yep. I believe the Kegel Center is only, 16?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, they're fairly small as well.
So now let's move on to the Oiler. A lot of people know a little bit about it, not everything about it. Some you can scan in, some you have to program, yada yada yada. How does yours work?
So we have a Kegel Icon. It's not the newest Kegel machine that they put out, but it's fairly new. Pull my earplug out so I can hear everybody. We're looking at the underside of it right now. So we picked it up and we cleaned it out today. So we'll clean these squeegees, and we'll clean this oil roller right here and this brush, which actually lays the pattern down. Behind this roller right here is another brush that the oil actually sprays on. It distributes it to this roller and then to this brush, and then it goes on the lane. Ours is, we can remote in with a approved laptop, and then we can change the pattern from a computer. We don't change it, but we can.
How many patterns do you have programmed in there currently?
We have, I think, 10 programmed in here right now. We have our house shot, the Missouri Master shot, and then a couple of pro shots.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that you guys just cleaned that, because when Frontier closed, like every third or fourth oil distributor was clogged.
Yeah, so we clean these rollers right next to this, what drives the roller. We clean right next to the brush, which drives the brush. These little rollers here keep the pattern straight. So there's a sensor on these. When it moves in, it moves the pattern over. So your pattern's always going to be 5 to 5 if that's what you put on.
That's nice.
But yeah, they had it had precisely had just the right amount of oil distributors clogged that it was literally oiling 3/4 of the board.
Yep. Yeah, these machines have gotten amazing. Our first machine was an oil and pad machine. So instead of having this big fancy brush right here, we had pads that flicked back and forth into oil and would come up and down and touch the lane in certain times.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing was horrible. I hated that thing. I never changed the pattern when it was with that.
Yeah, because at that point it wouldn't have just been a couple of clicks and it changes. That's a process.
Yeah, you get a tool out, you have to loosen a bolt, you have to move the pad, you have to change the angle of the pad, and it's just like certain things can really mess it up.
Welcome in.
So how long does it take for that oil machine to oil all 24 lanes?
It's 3.5 minutes a lane.
That's not bad.
No, it's this machine was made in 2017. We went to the Kegel Center in 2016 when they were getting ready to roll it out. They were testing it on their test facility. And my husband looked at me and said, I want one. I am the person who makes I want one. I make it happen. So we got it.
That's the Kegel Icon. The newest one is the Kegel Flash.
Yes. Yeah, they have the Phoenix is older than this. The Custodian's older than this one. They have the Icon 2, the Icon Flex, the Flex Walker, the Flex, and now I think they have a Flash.
And just so people get an understanding and an appreciation of when centers actually do upgrade those oil machines, how much did that cost you in 2017?
This cost us $39,000 in 2017. So basically a car.
Yeah, people, it's not cheap. So appreciate your facilities when they upgrade.
Yeah, and I know there's so many people that complain about oil machines in many houses, and I always tell them, I'm like, you have no idea how much they cost. They're like, oh, it can't be that expensive. I'm like, you have no idea.
Yeah, this is basically a new car that only moves 60 feet and then comes back 60 feet. It won't even drive me to work. It still won't drive me to work. Another thing that people underestimate about this machine is its weight. Yeah. So it looks incredibly light. This machine comes in at just under 500 pounds, 495 pounds. And that's with all the guarding stripped off. So I stripped all the guarding off because I couldn't lift it and lower it myself. So I shaved off 10 pounds by taking all the extra guards off the side and the light out from underneath it. And
Yep.
the doors on the top. I took all of that stuff off. I said, I don't need that stuff.
Welcome back, Nathan.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Brian teases me all the time about being stronger than I look, and that's why he keeps me in the back.
Oh, excuse me. Goodness gracious. So how often do you guys cycle pins?
We go through pins about once every 5 years. So right now we're running Lynn's. And as you can see, this pin is going to be 5 this year, and it's still in an amazing condition. Let's see if I can find a pin that's older than 5. Probably can if I look really hard. Here you go. This one is probably about 6 years old, and it rattles. Sounds like a maraca. So it's broken on the inside. But that's about 6 years old.
And that's another thing that people don't understand is you can have a pin that the poly coating is still completely fine on, and it still be broken.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a really loud one if I can find it. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
Oh yeah. Sounds like a screw's loose.
Yep, just a little bit. But this is on a newer pin. So this is one that we pulled out of the machine recently because it kept falling over when it was setting. But it sounds like a maraca.
So is that why pins fall over? They're past their life?
Sometimes. So a couple of other things can happen. I think I have one up front. And it was on a brand new box that we bought to replace some of the damaged ones. I did leave it up front. They have big chunks out of the bottom that doesn't allow them to spot properly. Some of the reasons why the pins fall over on first spot are these cups right here. They can be broken down at the bottom and doesn't allow the pins to sit properly. They can be off spot. So if it's too far forward or too far back, it's going to fall one way or the other. So if you tell your mechanic, hey, my pin fell over, tell them which direction it fell over. They're going to know how to fix it. If it falls over to the front, it was too far forward. If it falls over to the back, it was too far back.
No, okay.
Okay, so piggybacking off of that, for a pin that's slightly broken on the bottom, but it still can stand, that's how we get leaner pins, right?
No. Regardless of how if it's able to stand on its own first time it's spotted, it's going to play as it should. So once they get damaged to the point, and I'll walk back up front and grab the one that is damaged really bad. Once they're damaged to the point where they won't stand on their own anymore, then they should be taken out of play. But around that poly coating is a urethane ring that's on the bottom of it that holds that coating to the pin. They're mopping down here on the high end.
She's working a full-time job on our live while we're sitting back watching.
I'm telling you.
So if you can see that, like right there, that little divot right there,
Yeah.
Right.
that's too bad of a divot that it won't set by itself anymore. And that is a brand new pin. You can kind of see how it wobbled, and I just dropped it from here. Now if I dropped it here, that's not going to spot. The pin setter drops it from up here. So it drops it, and you can see how it wants to fall forward.
Interesting. So if that's not the cause of leaner pins, how do leaner pins happen where it'll still set, but you can clearly see it from the foul line, it's leaning one way or the other?
So balance distribution on the inside can cause it to lean one way or the other. I don't know how well you can see these guys. These guys are all almost perfectly spotted. I do have one that's slightly off. But there's that bit where I say if you're looking at the front, you shouldn't be able to see the 5 pin behind the 1.
Right.
Leaner pins generally happen when that ball ring starts to come loose. So, or the pin ring starts to come loose on the bottom. That happens, or it's broke heavily on one side versus the other, so the pin leans to the heavier side.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but these little rings can be popped off with a screwdriver, and then it exposes the wood bottom underneath.
And for those that don't know, broken pins do have a distinctly different sound. If you strike and you hear a hollow sound, there is a busted pin in that rack somewhere.
Sounds like a ripe watermelon. Yep. Generally, I'm pretty quick at spotting them and getting them out of the rack before anybody else can find them.
And if you're on a pair that has a busted pin, don't be surprised if you don't shoot the best that night, because a busted, hollowed, a broken pin in a rack will affect your scores.
Yeah, I think the longest I've ever ran on pins was 7 years. And I don't advise anybody going past 7 years.
But yes, Nathan, those are 8270s.
Yeah, the 30s will eat them alive. So those are the ones with all the missing plastic up on top.
Yeah.
Now, at either one of your houses, have you ever used twisters?
No.
Thank you, Jesus.
No. No, twisters are not friends to the 70s. The twisters will bust your cups in a hurry.
Twisters were invented by Satan himself. I'm convinced of it.
I don't doubt that. So our cups are cast aluminum. And I believe this is a broken one, I think. If I can find the break in it. I have no idea why it was sitting in the broken pile. Oh, it's broken. It's broke right here at the bottom. Right here and right here. Right where my pinky runs across.
Ah, okay.
So that causes some pin instability. But no, twisters will break these cups all day long.
But yeah, I've never seen so many pins fly and never touch each other. You can send twisters flying, but they just do not connect with one another for some reason.
Yeah. The only other pins that we have here are synthetics. The Brunswick Pro Life or Pro Max Life or Max Life. We're testing those on one pair right now to see what the difference is. And the bonus side is we don't get broken pins on them. They feel about the same weight as the wood pins, and we really don't notice a difference in pin play.
Now, I got a question. Does pin setters affect carry or deflection?
No. Nope.
Okay.
So we're looking at, so the table is right here where my hand is, and we have almost half a pin height before it can hit anything. And
Okay.
yeah, I would say not on these, not on the 70s. I can't speak for A's or GSXs, but not on these. The only thing for deflection would be these side walls right here. You want to make sure that your wood's nice and solid still, and that you have a nice coat on this.
Okay. And how often do you strip and re-oil your lanes?
We strip and re-oil for every league. We'll oil extra pairs on days that we're only partial house, just so our lanes have that nice coat on it. So what a lot of people don't understand is that oil serves two purposes. It creates friction, non-friction for your ball, but it also protects the synthetic lanes.
Yeah.
It keeps the balls from scratching the lanes up.
And speaking of oil, which oils do you guys use?
We use Terrain. So we have Kegel Terrain. right here. And it's been we've been using it for 2 years. We were using I don't remember the name of it. Curve. We were using Curve for a while, and we stepped away from it because it's very weather sensitive.
Yeah.
What-
Yes.
One bottle that you just showed us, how long does that last you? How many lanes will that do?
That will do a week's worth of leagues.
Very cool.
And how long do you let it set before league starts?
About 35 to 40 minutes. So if our league starts at 6:30, we oil no later than 5 o'clock.
Man, I'm walking it. I'm walking into leagues and they're just starting to oil.
Yeah. Well, we've got 3.5 minutes before, all the lanes are oiled between lanes. So we're looking at 45 minutes worth of oil time.
My house, my league house is 20 lanes.
Yeah. So if you had one starting at 6:30, you could plausibly wait till 5:30 or so. But we'll burn our first pair. So we'll do a burn pair on like 1 or 2 or 7 and 8, depending on what league it is. We'll burn that pair, start oiling on 3 and 4, and then come all the way down and then go back and re-oil 1 and 2 again.
Now, that icon is capable of using 2 different oils, right? Like one
No.
for forward and one for reverse?
No, this is just a single tank. That's not a dual tank. It wasn't until the second icon came out that they came out with the dual tank.
Got it. I knew it was one or the other. I didn't know if it was the original or if that was the upgrade to the 2.
Nope, that was the upgrade.
I was gonna say because one of the tournaments that I bowled in just got a Kegel had just gotten a Kegel icon too, and they put fire for forward and ice on reverse.
Oh,
That was fun.
How did that play?
Very tight.
Yeah, they should have flipped that around.
Well, and that was the thing is with the fire and ice, you would think that with the name that it would have one characteristic, but it was actually reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they reversed the oils. If they did fire on the way down and ice on the way back, it would understand why it was so tight. So fire has a thinner viscosity than ice does. Ice is a thicker oil. So if they're oiling that back, that oil's not going to spread very fast. Where if they did ice down and fire back, it should spread better.
Well, and that was one of the first ones that he did, and I'm not really sure he understood what he was doing
Yeah.
when he laid it out. He's just like, "Oh, new toy. Let's play with it."
Yep. I don't know if you can see our oil lines, but we oil 5 to 5 until just before the rangefinders, and then we taper in. So as we get closer, the oil comes this way and kind of peaks right in here.
Which creates your wall.
Sometimes, but we've got a lot of people who think urethane is the gift, is the answer. So it doesn't matter how many urethane bowls they throw, it's still going to be playable for the down and ends and the heavy crankers. And
Well, yeah, and like I told these guys, playing around urethane is, as long as you have an accurate urethane player, it's not that hard. You just got to pick whether you want to stay inside or outside their line.
yep, ball up or ball down. If you want to ball down, go inside. If you want to ball up, go outside.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everyone that throws urethane in my league house, they're throwing down the center. They're not using urethane to what it's supposed to be used for, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I throw outside, so it never affects me.
Well, actually, it benefits you because they're depositing that oil up towards the head pin, and it's giving you free hold if you miss.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. And not all of our
So
urethane players are accurate.
Yeah, we have a lot of spray and pray kind of people,
Yeah.
but they're typically missing to the left.
Throw it hard and see what
so
sticks.
Yeah.
right. So the most controversial part of the night. How do you take care of your approaches? Some houses do good, some houses do bad, yada yada yada.
Okay, so I will peek under one of my machines, and you notice that there are no dust bunnies. We have wood approaches here with synthetic lanes. And I doubt we'll ever step off wood approaches just because how easy they are to care for. We
Yeah.
sweep twice a week. So we sweep every Tuesday and Thursday underneath everything. And for some reason, that makes our lanes a little bit slicker on the approach. We clean the ball marks up off the foul line. So you'll get those little spotty ball marks like right here.
Oh yeah.
And we clean those up once every 3 weeks. We'll come through with acetone and clean them all up and then hit them with a very, very light scratch pad.
See, now that's another funny thing that you bring up is like somebody will be using a super heavy early rolling ball, and they'll drop the ball before the actual lane. They'll drop it on the approach, and then they'll wonder why all their ball does is forward roll. It's like, well,
Yep.
dude, you set it to forward roll before it even hit the lane.
Or jump off the foul line. So this is the oil pattern that we're running here at this house. And
Ooh,
we post it.
You got a pretty decent shim area there.
Yep. We have a pretty split house with big belly rollers and down and ends. So this caters pretty well to both of them.
Okay, so a little inside baseball for people who throw it like me, who are higher rev, higher speed cranker. You see where it looks like there's a cliff where it goes from dry all the way up to the center where it's flooded. If you're at a house that you don't understand or you're not familiar with, the safest place to play is right along that cliff.
Yep. So right through here. Or throw it to the dry right here.
Yeah.
Yep, I was going to say my target board is probably going to be 2 or 3 boards into the puddle, and I am targeting outside the rangefinder.
I'm a really good Vanna White most of the time.
You know, I have to respect this. Like Nathan said down there, not many houses share their house shot. They act like it's a secret code or
Oh
something.
yeah. My house won't tell you at all.
You would be surprised what proprietors share with other proprietors.
My house won't share because it's never consistent. Honest truth.
41 today, 44 tomorrow.
I mean, it's their oil machine is literally being held together with duct tape. I'm not kidding.
Oh, good God.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can find somebody for you.
it's a rough machine.
Uh-oh, somebody's not doing their job.
Yeah. I gotta find out where they're at. I don't know where anybody went. I gotta go find somebody.
Customer service.
Let's see where the vacuum is. And we probably shouldn't have it stretched across the building.
Looks like you got a pretty nice facility there.
Yeah.
Very well kept up.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's keeping it clean as a 24/7 job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
How can I help you? On 1? 7 and 8? Okay. I will get you. Oh, it went away. Let me find 7 and 8. Restart. Let's see. Haha, there it is. Just let him know when you're done that you had an extra game. There you go.
Jack of all, or Jill of all trades.
Oh, yeah. That's what my mom says too. Well, she's not afraid to call me Jack, though.
Well, you know,
I'm actually named after my grandfather. So my grandfather's name is Jackie, and my grandma calls him Jack.
That's cool.
well, I mean, my mother was named after my grandfather. My grandfather's name is George, so her name is
I'm 9 and
Georgina.
10. Nope, you're fine. I can get that fixed for you.
But oddly enough, she goes by George.
That was my great grandfather's name.
Well, what was funny for the longest time when somebody asked me what my mom and dad's name were, my mom and dad's name was, I always said Gary and George, and got a bunch of really weird looks.
Understandable.
I'm like, no, George is short for Georgina.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to go find my people. Find out where the heck they went to.
I'll be down there April 25th.
I have no idea where they went.
Yeah, they're pooping.
Tell you what, good employees are hard to find, and they're not lying.
It goes for all trades too.
Yeah. Oh, there she is. Where'd Dylan run off to? Because he wasn't at the front desk, and 9 and 10 got another game. That's Galaxy. We love Galaxy. She's great. Ah, they were in the back. Why they were both in the back, I don't know. I'm about to ask that question, but there are 2 more coming up.
We're doing pretty good, Gavon. How are you tonight? Oh my gosh, he's stinking.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in the back. I come up here. What do you got? What do you got?
Cage.
It died?
So it
Define died.
doing whatever Lane 3 was doing today. Like
Interesting.
everything just stopped, and I couldn't get it to reset or anything.
Okay.
Chassis with 4 for now. I'm going to swap it back to the
Okay. Make sure that you leave a note for Brian because Brian's going to be in tomorrow. All right. Yeah, I was looking for everybody. I'm like, where did everybody go? They were all gone.
skeleton.
They're not skeletons. He might be a skeleton. I'm not a skeleton. Yep, running a bowling alley is a full-time job for sure. Running 2 will make you want to pull your hair out most days.
I can understand that.
My
And
pin
how-
chaser at the other center is not the sharpest tool in the shed. I love him. He means well, but he's got some screws loose.
Few fries short of a Happy Meal.
Yeah, just a little bit. He'll
Well,
call
Graham,
me
that's
for
awesome to hear.
he'll call me for tech support and be like, I don't understand why it's doing this. And I'm like, you just called me yesterday for the same thing.
Yeah, the serpent's been a hell of a ball so far. I went the judgment side, so I don't exactly need a serpent, but I'm very impressed with what I've seen so far.
I'm still working with it. I haven't really been giving it much of a chance because my Apex Solid's been so spot on. I haven't needed to.
So on weekend nights, how late are you guys open?
On Saturdays we're open till 1 a.m. and we're generally pretty busy up until then. We'll get busier about 10 o'clock, and right now it's only 9:30 here. So all the drunk people get told they can't be in the bar anymore, and they come to the bowling alley.
Aha.
Good business for you.
Yes, it is.
So how often does it get wild?
It doesn't get too wild too often. My husband is a 6 foot tall Italian, so he's kind of
That'll do it.
intimidating.
Pretty good
Kind of,
deterrent.
and he's pretty intimidating, even though he tells everybody I'm the one he's got to watch out for. He's a teddy bear. Don't tell him I said that, but he's a teddy bear. I'm the mean one in the family.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of one of our old questions from our questionnaire.
Okay.
What's the weirdest thing that you've seen in the bowling alley as a proprietor?
As a proprietor, you want people or machines?
Both. People first.
Hi, Ed. I'm doing a live. They're asking me what it's like to be a bowling alley owner. I've seen people try to come in and bowl in their regular shoes, which we'll allow if they don't have any rocks in their tennis shoes. But one gal insisted on trying to bowl in stilettos.
The best owner
Oh
around.
dear Lord.
She tried to bowl in her stilettos, and I had to put my foot down and say, absolutely not. You're going to break your neck.
Yeah.
So she rented a pair of shoes, and she put her stilettos back on anyway. Tripped and fell into the gutter and broke her shoulder.
Oh,
Oh,
And at that point, you warned her twice. That is NMFP.
Yep, pretty much. Well, we tell him, look, you go across that foul line, we can't be responsible for what happens. And sure enough, that's exactly what she did. She stuck that little stiletto past that oil line, and down she went.
Whoop.
Yeah, we're definitely not a Bolero center. We oil at the foul line.
Right?
you can only lead the horse to water.
Yeah.
See, now I would put a sign, if I was in your shoes, I would put a sign above every foul line that says the facility is not responsible for your stupidity of crossing this line.
We actually have that on our foul line. It says, do not cross foul line, risk of injury. That's a legit sign that we have.
I would
And then you
brand
can
a
play-
donkey in it.
yeah. And then you can play the song that was just playing. I saw the sign.
No shit.
Well, you can't not see it. I mean, it's very noticeable, and I've got extras in my office.
I would definitely brand a donkey on the end for jackass.
Step across this line. Bowling alley is not responsible for your stupidity.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So,
I'm sure some people got an eyewitness of that.
yeah,
Bro,
close up view.
goodness gracious. But yeah, mine would have been worded the way I said it. It would have been far less PC than that.
Yes. Unfortunately, we don't have that legacy since we're a kids safe center.
Typically, they said they have wood approaches and synthetic lanes.
Yep. Yeah, and it makes some people look Fred Flintstone it right over the foul line anyway because our wood approaches. So
I was gonna say that the slickest wood approaches I ever experienced, I was using a 4 slide on my Dexters, and I was still slipping and falling.
yeah, I could believe that. I normally don't have a hard time sliding because I slide like 4.5 feet. I have a very
good
long
Lord.
slide. I have a very long slide. I start at the back of our approach, and I start sliding at the end of the fall lift. So the power lift right there, I start sliding
Wow.
there. And I probably end up 2 inches behind the foul line.
Wow.
But I do
But yeah,
have
after about
yeah, a little bit.
after about the fourth time I slipped and fell, I just put tennis shoes on and I stepped and planted for the entire tournament.
Yeah. I giggle when people try to put their foot underneath my ball racks trying to get dust
Dust.
because I don't leave dust. I sweep it twice a week so we don't have dust bunnies.
I catch people trying to do that all the time in multiple houses.
And it might work at some houses, but not at ours. We have a sand volleyball court behind our lanes. So all that sand blows in, so we have to clean it regularly just to make sure that we're not leaving sand out.
I was gonna say, well, when they outlawed Easy Slide, the easiest way to get a little bit of glide is from those dust bunnies.
Yeah, no dust bunnies here. Yeah, I think I have an 8 pad on my shoe. I have an 8 Dexter pad and Pro Max shoes. If you haven't heard of that brand, I absolutely recommend researching it because I'm a big fan of their shoes.
I actually have a pair of Epic D2s, the dual BOA system.
Yeah, I've seen
Right,
those, and
Nathan?
I don't need to complicate anything.
Well, I have narrow feet, so I appreciate the fact that I can adjust the narrowness of the narrowness of my shoe, and then adjust the top part of my shoe separately. Because a lot of times the bottom part, where it controls my narrowness, is a lot tighter than around my ankle.
Yeah.
Did you say the brand was Pro Max?
Yep, Pro Max. Ooh. As you
But
were,
I do have a Dexter slide on my Evos on my Epics because Epic slides were not great.
I'm hard to trust because I slide so far and I don't want to face plant. So these are all my bowling balls that we are looking at right here. So these guys right here,
Ugh.
I absolutely love them. They were worth every penny I spent on them. But I've got my Dexter's bottoms on them.
Yeah.
And I think that one's about 14 years old.
Good Lord.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't use my brake. Yeah. I think that
Yep,
heel
that
is
seemed-
probably pretty old too.
I'll say that seems to be about the state of wear of my Dexter 8 slide that I have on my shoe currently.
Yeah, we were talking about Brian. I had Brian do a tutorial video about what it means to line up with your feet because that's the one thing new bowlers always ask is, well, how do you line up with your feet? What's the wrong way? What's the right way? And so we did this video and a guy commented on it. Well, I hate it when they don't oil the approaches because then I stick all the time. And I'm like,
What?
you don't bowl. I'm like, I said, don't put your heel down. You'll stop sticking. And they're like, I don't put my heel down. They don't oil the lane. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with your slide. I'm just like,
That's one of the. That's one of those tell me you don't know jack shit about the sport without telling me you don't know jack shit about the sport.
yep.
It's always the lane's fault.
The strangest machine thing I've ever seen happen, which actually turned out to be the longest day ever in my life, was I had a table shaft break just 9 hours before a tournament.
Oh no.
And it was a full house tournament. So a table shaft is a lot longer than a sweep shaft and has a lot more stuff on it. A lot more timing items. And so I had to basically disassemble the front end of a bowling pin setter to get this off, to get the new shaft on, which we had one in Brookfield, but not in St. Joe. So, of course, my husband had a 3-hour round trip drive to go get it. and I ended up staying up. I was up all that day because I'd already worked that day. But this shaft here is the one that broke. So it's all the way across right here. And it broke right in here. So I had to take all of this stuff off, put the new one on, which took me about 6.5 hours to do. I got done 15 minutes before the tournament started.
Ooh.
And then had to stay and work for the tournament.
Oh, God.
Talk about being locked in.
No
Oh, yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even our tournament. So we helped host the Northwest Missouri Seniors Bowlers Tour. And you can kind of see that we're on that list, but we actually got Mission Bowl had a issue happen at their center, and they requested that we open our house so they could continue with the series. So we actually took 2 of the extra tournaments this year. But it was one of their tournaments. So he was pushing me really hard to get everything done.
I was going to say, talk about trying to operate on a deadline.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's, I put out a video that said, my day as a pin setter mechanic, because I put some pretty unusual things in there from time to time. We had a rail break, a down rail break, and it was causing little nicks in the bowling ball. And I'm like, no big deal. I'll just swap it out for this one that isn't broke. So I pull it out, and then I inspect the job, and I get that new one put in, and then I realize that the cushions on the up rails are bad. So I got to replace those. So I go to take the rails out to replace the cushions on the rails, and I find that the ball lift is broken. So then I had to take that out and replace that. And so it was just one issue after another all night long. And I was supposed to go live that Tuesday, kind of give everybody a show in the back, but I ended up spending all my time trying to fix 13 on the fly so the league could continue the bowl. Moving bowlers is the very last thing we ever want to do.
Right. Well, Hank, it takes a special breed of person to be able to be back there and know what they're doing.
Yeah, you've got to have a lot of patience. If you understand transmission work and basic engine maintenance on cars, you've got a leg up on half the industry. Yeah, so Hank, it sounds like you'd have a leg up on half the industry. Because I also came from a auto shop background. I came in knowing how to weld, how to fix motors. So I'm always slapping gearboxes together.
Oh. Let's see here.
I'm still soaking it all in. I have not been much to say.
I know. There's so
Right.
much to it. There really is.
But yeah,
They're so simple but so complex all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean that's why we wanted to definitely get you on here and spend some time with you, so that way people actually would have an appreciation for what goes on back there and the work you do to keep us rolling. Because you guys aren't appreciated nearly enough.
Yeah. I'm training, like I was saying earlier, I'm training a new pin chaser. And I was on live on one of my bowling league nights, and he had an out of range. He'd never dealt with an out of range before, and so he crawled underneath the machine, didn't unplug it, didn't stop the energy. I about had heart failure. I about had heart failure. I pulled him aside later and I said, if I ever see you do that again, I will fire you on the spot.
Yeah.
I said, these machines don't love you. And when they come to the floor, they come really close to the floor.
I was going to say that's a good way to end up pushing daisies.
Yeah, well, there's not going to be much of you to push.
I saw a video, and it was some kids in a bowling alley, and the kid decided to run down the alley and then jump into the pins. The only thing that saved him was the fact that the sweeper got stuck on his leg, so it stopped the rack from coming all the way down.
So what happened was it interlocked.
Yeah.
So
But
this switch right here, and this switch right here, if they're not in certain timing, it will not allow your machine to move at all.
Right,
So,
and that's the only thing that saved him.
So I'm going to sweep these.
The worst part is the people that were filming were just chuckling up, like,
Yeah, just sitting there laughing.
the most funniest thing in the world. I'm like, dude, he is in such danger.
Oh, yes. We have an emergency stop on our scoring system. So I can stop all the lanes instantly. So I just brought the table all the way down to the floor, and my knuckles are my hand.
Yeah, you can't even fit a full hand underneath there.
And that's not even dead, or what they call zero or dead bottom. So I can crank that table to a finger width above the lane. And one of those tables, I actually have a video. And the crazy thing is on my video, I've got everything locked out. I have everything turned off. But what had happened was the table bound up and wouldn't allow the pen setter to go to the floor. And it was stuck in a position where I couldn't chalk it with anything. I didn't have anything that size to chalk it with. So I slid under there to see why it was binding. And I just happened to hear it click. So I always wear earplugs in the back just to protect my hearing. And I heard it click. And I rolled my body out just in time before the table bounced off the floor.
Jesus.
My grandson used to pin chase for us. And he was always sticking his arms into the table while the table was moving. And I told him, I said, look, I got all these scars on my arms from these machines, and I know what I'm doing. I know the dangerous spots that I'm sticking my hands into. I said, you don't know this stuff, bud. This doesn't love you. It will eat you.
Yeah.
But I keep that video because I gave my husband heart failure. I keep that video to show all my new pen chasers of why we don't work on stuff energized, even though that never was.
Right. Well, it's a matter of life and death, and life is sure more important than death.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'd rather have the machine laying down for 5 minutes to unplug it than have it down for days on end because someone lost their life under it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have no problems meeting Jesus, but I don't want to meet him today.
Yes. And 9 out of 10 times you read those articles about a pen setter mechanic getting killed, it's something like that happened. They were underneath the table and the table fell and it crushed them. Or they were working in the back without dropping the curtain and the table came up and trapped their head and it essentially broke their neck.
Oh.
Well, we had a good time till then. Thanks.
I was going to say, can
You got to have respect for these machines.
Absolutely.
Because they know one thing only, go until they can't go no more.
Right.
I was going to say, let's find something a little more joyous to end on because we want to get you out of here before you get busy.
So, what is your pros and cons, and what would you recommend to, say, someone who was looking into getting a bowling alley?
Pros and cons. So, ask other proprietors how they feel, because bowling is very seasonal, contrary to popular belief. We do get slow during the summer. Make sure that you know how to budget well. If you think your maintenance budget should be 5%, jack it up to 25, because that's what it's really going to cost you.
Right.
Don't be afraid to reach out to other people and really ask for help or understanding, because our proprietors in this area, like Kansas City, St. Joe, Savannah, Cameron, I mean, we're all super tight knit and super close. I've had a guy who runs, because we run Brunswick ball lifts. You haven't noticed, we got the Brunswick 2000s in here.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, I've got a wheel. If you need one, I can just run back to my place and grab it really quick. But we'd also turn around and do the same thing for him. If you wanted lifelong friends, be a bowling alley owner. Because there's something to be said about, getting a call at 4 o'clock in the morning saying, hey, I got something going on with my lanes and I need your help. And I've went out of my way to help other proprietors just because I know that they're going to be there when I need them. Those are some of the really big pros to it, as being that tight-knit family. Some of the cons, you're going to hear people tell you all the time, why'd you change your pattern? I know you changed your pattern. So if you can't stomach that, being an owner is not for you. And then
Wait,
people blaming everything from their crappy bowling to their crappy release on the lanes.
but
But
wait,
it's the lane's fault.
when somebody says, I know you changed the pattern, the appropriate answer isn't only on your pair?
No. I look at them and smile and say, I haven't changed the pattern in a year and a half.
I would just reply bowl better.
The last person, they were bowling next to me and my husband on a Friday night, and they just turned around and yelled, and they said, my God, this house sucks. And I said, maybe it's the bowler. And my husband shot me a look because, we keep me in the back. And my husband shot me a look, and he was like, I can't believe you just said that. And I'm like, what? He
Sometimes
bowled
you gotta hear
better.
the truth.
If he bowled better, he wouldn't be complaining.
Right?
Well, if he'd hit the 8 board, he'd do better.
Well, I don't talk a lot to people, so they don't know how to handle it when something comes out of my mouth like that. They don't know if I'm serious or if I'm joking.
There wasn't enough oil in that approach.
Yeah, not enough oil on the approach. I couldn't slide.
My stilettos aren't gripping. It's your fault.
Yep. That was definitely. Those are probably some of the weirdest things I've ever seen. So.
Well, I mean, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. We want to get you out of here before you guys start getting busy.
It's not a problem. But thank you for having me on. And if you guys ever have a question about how things work or if something weird happens, don't be afraid to give me a shout. I'd be glad to help you.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I'm within distance, so I'll have to come by and give you some business.
See if our oily approaches are been oiled recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe you can set up something like we were discussing about that takeover.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to do that at their house if they would have us.
Absolutely. Yep. Just give me a shout. You got my number. Let me know when you want to do it.
Perfect.
Brian, you
Absolutely.
got anything?
Obviously, you guys aren't following, give her a follow, and keep crushing pins, y'all. And thanks for all the likes and gifts. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Slip and slide
That does
Sundays. Extra oil on the approach.
Yes.
So, when I went into your live and I seen what you were doing and how you were handling it, how you guys were talking to each other, it made me want to bring you into this because I seen that you guys really have compassion for what you do.
Yep.
I really appreciate that, and I wanted to give other people the reverse side of bowling that they don't normally get to see, and
Yep.
hopefully in return they treat you guys with more respect, understanding that you guys are going through a lot more than they think that you are. So I appreciate you coming on. I thank everybody in this live. We wouldn't be anything without you guys. I say it every week. We love you guys. Thank you for everything.
Absolutely.
All right, you guys have a
Well-
good night and see you next
All right.
week.
Have a good night, guys.
Later.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.